of anti-American sentiment, which he says is not uncommon where his brother is being held. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays says officials in rural Cochise County who delayed canvassing the 2022 general election have been indicted by a grand jury on conspiracy and other charges. A settlement agreement has been reached involving a massive class action case over toxic forever chemicals.
Chemours, DuPont, and Corteva have agreed to pay the state of Ohio $110 million to resolve claims associated with toxic forever chemicals. Chemours said it would be responsible for half of the settlement costs, while DuPont would provide about $39 million to resolve the claims relating to the release of per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS, from the company's facilities. Chemical makers have faced thousands of lawsuits in recent years over contamination by PFAS, which can be found in the blood of most Americans, accumulating in the body and not breaking down in the environment. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Gas prices are falling across the country. AAA says the national average is just below $3.25. That's down 25 cents from a month ago. I'm Lee Silasara. This is Fox News.
Go. Hey, we want to welcome everyone once again to the fastest moving hour in radio. This is the Lawrence County Republican Party show. My name is Brandon Taylor. I am the chairman of the Lawrence County Republican Party. And across the table from me, as always, I have my good friend, Mr. Lawrence Orlando Sutton, joining us tonight. And he is the secretary of the Lawrence County Republican Party. And, you know, Lawrence, I always look forward to coming in and being able to hang out with you. We're friends on the side, but also we do a lot of things politically, and I just have a lot of fun with it and look forward to coming in and talking with you. How are you this evening?
Man, I'm doing just fine. How about you, buddy?
You know, coming in right off of a town hall meeting last night with the Lawrence County Republican Party at the Lawrence County Courthouse, I felt like it was a home run. Some things, you know, I thought could have been better, but overall I think it was a very successful town hall meeting, and just want to hear your thoughts on that this evening.
Well, not only did I think it was a really successful meeting, I'm going to tell you this. We had 9 of our county commissioners stay behind to take questions with the audience.
Absolutely.
And I'm just going to tell you, it's my opinion only. But if you weren't one of those 9, then it showed you either were too busy or didn't care, one or the other, because people wanted to hear from their representatives.
Sure.
And it wasn't just a Republican Party meeting, because we put it out as a town hall to every Lawrence County resident.
We did.
And the county commissioners that stayed behind, and, you know, David Morgan was there. And I'm going to tell you another thing. John Myers stayed. You know, he's our sheriff, you know, but he put out some really good ideas of how we can maybe fix this problem that we have with the fees raising for the dump without it maybe costing us that much more money.
Absolutely.
So, you know, everybody was involved. Russ Brewer, our clerk, was there. Our circuit clerk, Tommy Lee Kidd, was there.
Right.
You know, I'm just going to put out, you know, a shout out to all these people. You know, like I said, we had 9 county commissioners were there. One of the county commissioners I've never had a chance to talk to until last night, and it was Scott Franks out of Summertown, and he stayed behind. And I tell you what, I really enjoyed the conversation I had with Scott while we were there.
That's right, and he told me he listens to the radio. So.
He did. He actually told me that too, which shocked me, you know, because I've never had contact with Scott. But, you know, I'm glad I did, you know. And then, you know, my commissioner, you know, he was there, and you know, Philip Heatherly, and not only is he my commissioner, but he's my mechanic. I think he's your mechanic too.
Yes, absolutely. We go to Philip Heatherly. I actually stopped by there on the way here, and I'll give him a plug if you need good, honest mechanic work in this county. I know there's several good mechanics in the county.
They are.
Philip Heatherly is second to none in Lawrence County. So
I agree 100%, and I tell you what, Philip, I have so much confidence in Philip of being honest, and not only being honest, but being a really good mechanic.
Right.
That I don't have car payments. I have Philip Heatherly payments. and what I mean
Keeps
by
it
that,
running for you, huh?
I just keep my older cars, and I can take my older cars and not have car payments. And when something goes wrong, I'm not worried
Right.
that something's not going to be done correctly. I know when Philip Heatherly does it, it's going to be done correctly, it's going to be done honestly, and I don't have to worry about paying all these stupid
You know,
fees.
I want to say something about Philip Heatherly's business. It's Midway Automotive.
Midway Automotive,
and
yes.
they're on Highway 64. And one of the things I really love about this, and there's several businesses like this in Lawrence County, so he's not that unusual in this area, but I love to go in and see a husband and a wife and their son working
and
there.
his father.
His father, I mean,
The whole family.
family's working there. It's just a great experience when you go in there, and I really appreciate those guys. So, Philip, keep up the good work. Keep being a commissioner for us, brother. We appreciate you.
We appreciate
but
you.
all those commissioners that were there last night.
You know, I mean, I may miss some people, but I'm just going to put them out there. Tammy Wisdom.
Tammy Wisdom's a good one.
You know, she's a really good one. You know, Tammy was there. David Ray was there.
Absolutely.
You know, Dave tries to get involved, and he's active. Youngest commissioner, you know, that we have. You know, he's a pretty good kid, and I call him a kid because, you know, he's actually like 3 or 4 years younger than my son, even.
Yep.
But you know, he's
You're old enough to be his grandfather.
No, I'm not that old yet. But you know,
Shane
Eaton was there.
Will Burnett.
Will Burnett, thank you. Trying to think.
We'll keep counting them off here I didn't write them down, and I apologize for not writing them down. But those that were there, I'll remember them as we go along the line. Travis Caldwell, my good friend.
Man, I mean, Travis was sitting right in front of me. We were talking, and there's one of the commissioners that was out in the with the audience. He wasn't up there with us.
Tim Clifton was up there.
Yeah,
with
Tim
us.
Clifton was up there, but no, this guy's an older guy. He was out there. I can't remember his name. I'm going to look him up because he is one of the more conservative commissioners that we actually have.
Okay, maybe he's one that I'm not very well versed with. Several of the commissioners call me on a regular basis, and we talk, and I've got better relationships with some than others. But I want to invite our county commissioners to be a part of our Republican Party meetings.
Amen.
Our
Even
next
if you're not
meeting,
Republican.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, Ricky Skillington's one that I talk to a lot, and
Ricky
he's been to
stayed. Didn't Ricky stay?
Ricky didn't stay.
So Ricky didn't stay. Okay.
But he's a friend of mine, and you know, any of these guys, and he's been to some of our meetings. But on January 23rd will be our next Republican Party meeting. Look, this county belongs to all of us. We don't try to elbow people out of the way. We look for a place where there's freedom of speech, and we look for a place we can express our thoughts, but also be respectful of each other. And if any of these county commissioners, if you're listening and you didn't make that event and you want to contact us about it, and maybe you didn't know about it, I apologize. If we don't have your phone number, if we don't have a way to access you, contact us and we'll get you in the loop, because I think we're going to be doing more of these town halls as we go forward, Lawrence. I mean, this is about the third one that we've done over different topics. And as this county continues to grow, I'm looking for opportunity to get constituents in front of elected officials so that we can have a real conversation without getting the left slanted media and find media that's not slanted left. Some's out there, but if we got people talking to their elected official, I think it's important. Let your voice be heard. Those county commissioners there last night, without a shadow of a doubt, wanted to hear from the citizens of this county, and I appreciate it more than you know. I appreciate David Morgan. David Morgan did a good job getting up there. Of course, he handles himself well. He's a good public speaker, as a lot of preachers are.
Yes.
But he did a good job, and we appreciate David Morgan taking the time. He did a nice printout, educating people about the solid waste. And I've got a lot of feedback from different folks. Even today, I've been on the phone with several people and got text messages from folks about the solid waste fees. And I want to say a couple of things that I learned last night for sure. Number one, I don't think that this fee is going to be put on to the property owners. I don't see that the county commissioners want that. I don't see the county executive wants that. It is a fee for service that we pay once per year. It's $54 a year right now. The haulers that move our trash, solid waste, to Mississippi, they have raised the rate for the county. And so the county there is going to have to raise the rate upon the citizens here. I think $54 a year is a bargain to pay just over $1 a week to have your trash moved out of the county.
Right.
I'm glad we don't have a dump here. I'm glad we don't have to worry
because
about that
it
polluting our
smells.
water.
I mean, it pollutes our water. And that was one of the things that that David Morgan brought up is, Lawrence County has some of the cleanest drinking water.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I agree with that wholeheartedly, because I know I get my water from a spring. Mm-hmm. And when I am outside of my county, I miss my water.
Absolutely.
If I have to go somewhere and everything, I just really miss my water.
Well, we have good water in the county, and with the plastics, I'm sitting here drinking out of a plastic bottle right here in front of you, and some of these things are recyclable and some are not. We don't know what the long-term effects of plastic is going to be on the environment, and if we can move this trash outside of our county, I think it's going to be to our advantage. And we're trying to do more recycling here in the county. I want to say thank you to Gary Wayne for showing up. He,
Yes.
I guess he's the administrator at the dump or executive at the dump there, manager there. I appreciate him being there last night, and he's been to West End Community Center. He's been very easy for us to contact and to have him actually trying to explain how the dump situation works. It's confusing a little bit
and
for folks that don't go there.
I know, and this is what I learned. Out of the 99 counties in Tennessee, he is the only one. He has so much responsibility.
95 counties.
95, thank you. He has so much, I'm thinking 99 state reps.
Right.
But he has more responsibility than anybody, because not only does he handle the city, but he also handles the county, and he's the only one in Tennessee that's doing that.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
So Travis Coswell was telling me about that.
Okay.
So I think Gary Wayne, he needs a big shout out, because he's done a lot of good work. Look at our county. Our county is a fairly clean county. You go to some of the other counties and they look like dumps. But, our county's fairly clean. Shout out for John Myers on that, because John Myers helps out with that, our sheriff, and gets some of the guys that are in jail to volunteer. And and at least they're out volunteering and doing these things to help our community when they could just sit there in jail.
Absolutely. That is a great thing.
So, I see us. I'm going to tell you something. We know a lot of people in other counties, me and you. And everybody that we talk to always tells us that we have it the best when we describe our leadership and how our county works and who we have in elected positions.
Yep.
They're all jealous, and they all want to move here.
Yeah.
Because of what we have.
Yep, we have several people that we know mutually that want to move to Lawrence County, and so we don't take it for granted. We want to be sure we say thank you.
We do. We need to say thank you. It was Randy Brewer.
Okay.
Randy Brewer. Randy stayed out with the public and everything instead of coming up, but Randy is definitely one of the more conservative county commissioners that we have.
Well, and if we missed your name, we apologize. We didn't even form a list. We're just kind of, this is all raw. We come in and sit down and we talk about what's on our mind, what we see on the news, things are going on in our county. And so the solid waste fee is absolutely going to go up on the county. So the county is going to definitely be passing that cost along somehow to the residents here. And they were just trying to find ways that the residents of the county, the constituents there, hey, what do you guys want us to do? And I could say without a doubt, I don't want to see it on a property tax.
No, it's not fair, and I'll tell you why it's not fair. Is that we found out yesterday there's 38% of property owners here in Lawrence County.
Yeah, residents here at 38% on property.
On property.
Yep.
So why does 38% pay for the other 62% when the 62% is using just as much as the 38% using?
A number that kind of blew me away was 29% of the residents in this county do not pay their solid waste fee.
That's correct.
And I don't want to shame people. I don't want to do it because, look, I'm sick of fees. We're feed and taxed to death.
Hate it.
I understand, and it's frustrating. But on this is a separate issue that stays out of the general fund, and it just pays to get your trash moved. And if they try to pass that exact cost on, I think it's obvious that they're just passing just the exact cost. $54 is
less.
a bargain.
It's less. They're losing money actually on it, especially considering that 29% do not pay. But let me tell you something. And again, I'm going to give Lawrence County kudos for this because we've been talking to other people, and me and you both have lived in other counties before.
Sure.
We've never had to pay that $54.
You lived in Florida.
I lived in Florida. We've never had to pay a $50, $60, or how much ever the fee is once a year to the county for the trash being moved away.
Sure.
We just got it in bills, whether it was through our electric bill, whether it was through the property taxes, all kinds of ways. But it just shows you how Lawrence County puts everything out there.
It's a level of transparency.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Is transparency. The level of transparency on that, and if people will see that, they will realize that this isn't even a tax. This is a fee to move your garbage. I want to ask you something. I mean, I pay, so you don't have to pay if you don't want to. You can take your garbage to the dump.
Absolutely.
Okay? You can even burn all your garbage if you want even. But I would tend to think most people in this county do not burn every piece of garbage they have.
No.
At one point or another, you're going to the dump if you do not have garbage service.
Right.
Okay? Now, for me, $54, do I want to pay it? No. But I understand it because it's been explained to me.
Right.
Why we have to pay this. So here's the way I looked at it. So at $54, what we are getting is our trash taken out of Lawrence County. And to me, I'm going to tell you something. That's a bargain.
I think it is a bargain. And so for those that might be just tuning in, we're talking about the solid waste fee. And it looks like as though I think it's going to be doubled on the county. So what the county's being charged by the haulers to actually transport the waste to Mississippi, that cost is going to double. It looks like it's going to approximately double by January, February timeframe. And
right.
So, but let me throw something in on national politics. I mean, let's get political here just a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. It's what we're here for.
We have a Democrat president who has been racking in inflation for years now, inflation like we've not seen. I mean, I don't want to start throwing out names, but
Jimmy Carter, let's say
Jimmy Carter, and I know that Jimmy's had a loss on his wife and things, so I'm not trying to trash someone while they're going through a hard time, but this is reminiscent of before I was, or the time I was born. I grew up hearing stories about the high interest rates. You couldn't afford houses. You couldn't afford things.
18% interest rates.
18% interest rates. Can I tell you, I mean, I don't know anyone that thinks it would be far-fetched that we might see those kinds of interest rates hit as in this time frame where we are right now. We're going to see a repeat of that. Joe Biden has not turned the tide on this at all. In my opinion, his administration is an absolute train wreck in every way. I mean, I wish I could find something really good that I could say I really like that Joe Biden has done, but there is nothing that comes to my mind.
I can't.
But inflation is number one thing that I can't stand, that he's really been a root cause of.
Well, you know what causes inflation, don't you? It's government debt.
Sure.
Government debt, if you go look at all countries when they're fiat currency, and don't get me wrong, people, the American dollar is a fiat currency.
Sure it is.
But all fiat currency in history has gone to zero. And all fiat currency that goes to zero was due to rampant inflation due to government overspending.
Sure.
Every single time. And people, if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And that is what we're dealing with right now. I'm just going to tell you, here's the difference between the Biden administration and the Carter administration. The Carter administration, I will say this. Before Joe Biden, the people I talked with, everybody said, and I would agree with them, that Jimmy Carter in our lifetimes, and even people that are older, like our parents' age and stuff,
right,
was the worst president that America ever had. Well, Jimmy Carter at least gets to see that he is no longer the worst president we ever had. It has now fell on Joe Biden and his administration. But here is the difference between Jimmy Carter and Joe Biden. Jimmy Carter and his administration was not evil.
Yeah, Joe Biden's administration has weaponized the FBI.
They are evil.
And they have weaponized these all these little three-letter names that you want to throw out there.
That's correct.
The IRS has been weaponized.
Yes, ATF has been weaponized.
Absolutely.
We can just keep going down the road. Even our Department of Education has been weaponized.
Sure.
Why does the Social Security Administration, why do they have more guns than probably the New York Police Department or Los Angeles or Chicago Police Department has? I mean, why do we have Social Security weaponizing themselves?
Sure. IRS has weaponized themselves.
But yet we want to take away guns from the American people.
Well, again, just seeing another layer of a Democrat president. And let me take it back to this.
Yeah.
So of all the things, all the missteps we've seen, guess what? Trickle-down effect. People say, well, I've heard people say, well, I don't care who's president. It's not going to affect me. It's affecting you.
Yes.
It's affecting me. I heard another statement a while back. You may not be interested in politics,
but politics is interested in you.
And absolutely. And so I encourage people, look, get involved. What we're dealing with in Lawrence County, and hats off to these county commissioners, to all of them, all 18 of them, because they're dealing with it. Okay?
They are.
They're not making a huge pay or anything like that.
And here's the other thing. Even the ones that didn't show up, I will say this about them. Every single one of them are worried for their constituents, this rate increase.
Sure.
They don't want rate increases.
No one wants this in this county.
Nobody.
But we are seeing the trickle-down effect of inflation.
Yep.
And how the trickle-down effect is now coming all the way down to our front steps. And it's not going to stop with just our trash. Listen, trash is just one of the things where it's really going to be what's noticeable that this price has gone up. But if you've been to the grocery store, the price at the grocery store
doubled. It has doubled since Trump was president.
And it goes up and down so much.
Well,
I mean, you'll see. I mean, there used to be a consistency with the price of eggs, and
right.
You know, I have a big family. Look, I know about buying some groceries.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's a huge difference for you between paying $1 for a dozen eggs and having to pay $5 for a dozen eggs.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, 5 boys that can eat their weight in gold.
Right.
And they don't
stop.
It. Yeah.
And they're done that.
They can do it. So
you go throw some pizza down in front of those boys and see what happens.
They'll eat the box.
They will eat the box.
They're like, you going to eat that box? You want me to finish that up?
And none of them are starved. I mean, they're all well fed. I mean, they're corn fed even. Yeah. But they'll be sitting there fighting and everything, kicking, biting, screaming.
I just kind of, it's entertainment, you know, it's a poor man's entertainment. Throw some food in the middle of it, see what happens. But
don't throw my girls in there either, because they'll be right there with them.
That's right. So we're seeing all this trickle down on the price of everything. And this is just one thing. And we're having a town hall meeting over this. And the reason, some people might say, well, why are you doing a town hall? Well, there's going to be issues other than this one. There have been issues other than this one where we've wanted to get our neighbors get their voice heard. And I feel like the Lawrence County Republican Party has worked very hard putting on this radio show. Hats off to these guys. Our county executive committee, all these folks that are out there. You got Tom and Wendy Cunningham, Jared Mintz, you got yourself, we have Cindy Clark, me, volunteers out there.
All kinds of volunteers,
hard, yes, that try to make this radio show come together. And they're behind the scenes, okay? They're doing things behind the scenes. It's not that we do this on our own, but this is the work of friends and neighbors coming together to try to make our county better, and to see us being able to join up last night with our county executive and county commissioners. Lawrence, that's been my goal since we got started. And I believe what we're seeing last night was fruits of our labor from the Lawrence County Republican Party to be able to hold such a clean meeting that children, school-age children, could sit in that room. We could talk about sensitive issues. We could let our voices be heard. Not one foul word was said. No name calling. Stuck to the facts, and people were a little bit upset. You know, we had people in there that was affecting them differently. Yeah,
it's affecting. Matter of fact, it was affecting everybody in one way or another financially. What was being talked about.
Yeah,
and you know, you wanna find out who someone's God is. Mm-hmm. Start touching their pocketbook or see what they get upset about.
I want to say this about, you know, there's a lot to be said about this topic because so much information came out yesterday.
Yes.
We had a couple of business owners in there. 2 of them were county commissioners.
Yes, they are.
And they own businesses. And they said in the microphone themselves, they said, we feel like we're not paying our fair share to get our trash moved out of here for what the fee is for commercial rate.
So I want you to think about that. How many people would do that?
Where's the level of corruption at when you have county commissioners that are sitting there looking at our county budget, making that decision,
and saying I'm not paying enough?
And they were saying, I don't want to throw business owners under the bus.
No.
But they literally said that out loud, and they're conservative gentlemen, both
very
of these guys,
conservative,
very good friends of mine.
Yes.
And they said, guess what? For the amount of poundage that I send out every day, every week, every month, I don't feel like I'm covering what I'm getting use of. They felt like they were getting a great bargain on the cost.
But here's the thing, and this is why I love living where I live, because a lot of people, they don't want to reach into their pocketbook to pay their fair share on things either, and they both put it out there and said, hey, it does need to change. And I'm going to tell you something. The county commissioner's job, if you want it, God bless you. If you can do a better job, we want you, actually. If you can do a better job with what we have, we want you. Come talk to us even.
Yeah.
Okay? Competition, what does competition breed? I mean,
sure.
you have good competition, then you're going to get better.
That's right.
With good competition. So, but I will say this, to me, I don't see the level of corruption. We see it happening in real time, and we see our county leaders coming out, and they're not hiding anything. Matter of fact, they had the budget for this all mapped out. It was, 6 or 8 pages or something?
Sure.
All put out there for everybody to see.
Yeah, I think David Morgan did a big part of that.
Yeah, David Morgan
he
did
a lot of legwork on that as well.
He did, but again, our county commissioners are out there. They're involved with it, and we talk about David a lot because we know David.
Sure.
And personally, I like David Morgan. I like him.
Right.
I like him as a person. He has a great family. And when I see some of the things that he goes through,
sure,
to serve our community, it actually kind of ticks me off a little bit how he's able to hold his composure as much as he does. Because if there's anybody in this county that's misunderstood, in my opinion, the most is David Morgan.
I understand.
But like I said, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I understand.
And I'll say this, for transparency, it's not like me and David have ever even sat down and have a meal together like me and you have.
Right.
Okay? I've just met David, campaigning.
You know where we know him from?
Where's that?
The Republican Party meetings.
That's right.
That's where I see him more there, or one of the, we do a lot with community centers here in the county, and I see him there. I see him in the community center
He's
events,
out in the community.
And I see him at the Republican Party meetings. And so, my hat's off to him that we would have him, Sheriff John Myers. I see him out there all the time.
I like John, too. I mean, John's my buddy.
Well, listen, John always gets the Lawrence Sutton special treatment when he comes to the West End Community Center. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there that you carrying him the what is it you make? Omelet.
Yeah.
You should have seen Jared Minn's face when I went out there one day and you brought that out there and set it down in front of John Myers. He said, here's your omelet. And Jared Minn was sitting there and I said, oh, you didn't get an omelet? I said, oh, he didn't make you an omelet. Jared's face, his mouth dropped up and he's like, what? I mean, I didn't get an omelet?
Yeah, but you know how that started? We were at a Republican Party dinner last year when Glenn Jacobs came.
Okay,
I'm going to tell you where this started. So,
former wrestler, WWE wrestler, Kane.
And it was a Lawrence County Republican dinner, a fundraiser.
Reagan Day dinner.
So John and I were talking. And I think the next day or the next day after, whenever, we had our breakfast at the West End Community Center, which is the 4th Saturday of every month. Hey, you want to talk about a good deal even with inflation? Come eat all you can eat with the breakfast that we have for $8. I dare you to find something better.
That's right.
But anyway, John asked me, he goes, hey, he says, can you guys do something other than bam, bam? I mean, we do eggs, we do sausage, bacon, pork chops, fried bologna, hash browns, biscuits gravy, chocolate gravy. I mean, I can just keep going here, you know.
Yeah.
But John's like, you know what? I really want.
You're making me hungry.
I know, right? Me too. I mean, I'm getting.
I hope my boys aren't listening.
So he goes, you think you can make an omelet for me? I go, John, what do you want on your omelet? And he goes, well, I'd like to have some onions, some bell peppers, some meat, some cheese. I go, done. So when we left that Reagan Day dinner,
Sure.
I went to Walmart, bought me, all the ingredients that he would need for that omelet. So
Yeah.
he asked for it.
Yeah, sure.
So here's the funny part. It wasn't just John that got one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but these people asked, so they watched me do this.
Right.
And JC Wisdom. Oh, you know how JC is. You can do JC better than I can. You know how he talks and everything. But JC goes.
He's my good friend.
Oh, I love JC. So JC goes, hey, is that an omelet? I go, yeah. Well, when do we start making omelets here? And I'm like, John asked for one. Well, nobody made me an omelet.
So you went back to the kitchen.
I went back to the kitchen. I made him an omelet. Then our friend Janice
Okay.
goes, hey, will you make me an omelet? I go, absolutely, I'll make you an omelet. So I made Janice an omelet.
And for everyone listening, you are a really good cook. Okay?
Yeah.
And never trust a skinny cook.
No, never trust a skinny cook.
So-
that's the reason I'm 70 pounds overweight. I eat too much of my cooking.
So I'm just going to tell you, with a name like Orlando, you got to be a good
oh,
cook.
my gosh. So with that, I got you something that I brought on the radio just for you. And
You're going to give me a gift live.
No, I'm
on
not
the
giving.
radio.
This is not a gift.
Well, what is this?
Oh, this is great.
This is a bait and switch?
No, it's not a gift.
Okay.
You may want it, but I bought this.
Did you buy me any firearm?
No, I didn't buy you. I didn't buy you a firearm.
Oh,
I
okay.
bought me a firearm.
Okay.
So here's what I got.
I knew it had to be a firearm with you talking.
Well, see this right here, and for people that can see, I'll hold it up.
For everyone that's listening, I had no idea this is coming.
Oh no, I know you didn't. I just told you about it.
Yeah.
But you know what a 1911 is,
So
don't
this
you?
is my gift, you said?
No, this is not a gift.
Oh.
It's a gift for me. It's my gift for you to pick on you.
Oh, okay. You're going to pick on me with a gun?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, I am. So I got
This show's coming off YouTube. It won't ever make it to YouTube.
I seen this and I go, I had to get this. So this is a 1911.
Okay.
Okay, in my
That's
opinion,
a good gift.
Yeah. You'll want this. Trust me. So, in my opinion, minus a .357 revolver,
Sure.
the greatest handgun made is a 1911.
It's a good gun.
Okay, love 1911s. So I got this. Guys showed it to me, and I'm like, I gotta have it. So I bought it, and this gun was named after you.
Really? Brandon Taylor.
It's Let's Go Brandon. So everybody that can see this 1911, so we'll show everybody. Okay, it's unloaded. Okay, not loaded, but it says Let's Go Brandon on there.
Oh, my goodness, folks. He is sitting here with a 1911 that says, Let's Go Brandon, has my name on it, and he's
Right.
not even going to give it to me. I hope you get hate mail over this. I really do.
I'm not going to get hate mail. I'm going to have people just laugh.
You know, the 1911 did for the United States Army what Disney World did for Florida. I mean,
Lord,
it made it what it is today.
Oh my God! Yeah, we're trying to kick Disney out now. When they went woke and trans, it's trans Disney now. So, but anyway, I mean, look at that. I mean, that's a gorgeous 1911. But
It's beautiful.
Let's Go Brandon on there.
Okay, so I didn't know you were going to bring this out.
Yeah.
But so this is how raw the show is.
Yeah, I told you I was going to get you. I just didn't tell you
Last
with
week,
what.
my family was in Gatlinburg for Thanksgiving week. We went on a trip, and so we were there and had a great time, had a blast. Everything was open. In case you're ever wondering, if you go to Gatlinburg on Thanksgiving Day, everything's open. You can eat anywhere you want to eat. Go to the stores. There may have been just a couple places closed, but we had a blast while we were there. But in that area, and I love vacationing there, I think because it's a very conservative area, there's these Trump stores, Donald Trump stores.
There is Donald Trump stores,
They're
absolutely.
they're popping up everywhere. I went to one of the first ones, but there's several Donald Trump stores in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg area. And so we go into one. And one of my sons, my son Levi, he's 9, we go in and he's walking around and he was like, Dad, how do these people know about you? how do they know about you? And I said, I guess they listen to Lawrence Sutton on the radio. I don't know. Because everything was
say that,
let's go, Brandon. I didn't say it.
I didn't think you did.
It would have been great. But he said, Dad, this is my new favorite store. I thought, this is so funny. But if you haven't been to a Trump store, it's very gimmicky. Saw some good bumper stickers in there. One I loved, I got to say this, with a Republican Party show. It said, when I die, don't let me vote Democrat. I love that bumper sticker. But we had a good time. I hope you're already getting hate mail.
Dude, I'm not getting
this.
hate mail.
I hope it.
My phone is blowing up
I see
because
it
they
going
are laughing. So one person says, what caliber is that? The only caliber you really can have in a 1911 is a 45 caliber. But I do like all 1911s. I don't care if it's a 10 millimeter, 9 millimeter,
I just want to borrow it for about 20 years.
Yeah, I bet you do. But I mean, you know what's kind of funny is
where did you
find
find this at?
Oh man, I had a guy bring it to me, and I seen it, and I'm like, I have to own that gun.
Well, I'd say Donald Trump probably has one as well. I don't know. But,
Who would have ever thought when your parents named you Brandon that your name would become a meme?
Let's go, Brandon is not meant in a good way.
No,
I mean, it's not something.
It's like Joe Biden, go copulate with yourself.
Right. And so
I'm trying to clean it up.
So my kids are wanting to buy shirts and say, it's about you, Dad, or, because all my friends are, let's
Right.
go. That's all I hear now.
You know what's funny? Yeah, I'm going to tell you, God has a sense of humor. You know why God has a sense of humor? Is let's look at the initials of Let's Go Brandon, LGB. And then all we got to do is add Taylor on it as LGBT.
There it is, folks.
Right there.
And I don't know. And if you add
God-
Lawrence,
God
if you add
has a
Lawrence,
sense of-
that's the plus, LGBT plus. So that's the Orlando. That's the Orlando's the plus.
I deserve that one.
Because you're the plus, I promise.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
You know what? I appreciate that I've got friends like you that will drag me out into public and put a microphone in front of my face and just degrade me. But it's good friendship.
You were put on this earth for my entertainment.
Well, you know what? I think I'm living up to what God called me to do, if that's the case. And, so hopefully I'll hear him say, well done, thou good and faithful servant.
Now, where's Lawrence?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So anyway, I just want people to see, we're going to put it up there. If you can't see it right here, it's Let's Go Brandon right here. I'm going to just see, here we go. Beautiful 1911, though.
It is a good looking firearm. Thank you for bringing that in.
Yeah. You know that you've got to be my friend if I'm going to buy a gun with your name on it.
I believe that.
I mean that.
And I appreciate your friendship, but I think I'm going to have to go further with the Orlando situation. I've heard one of our friends call you No Show Orlando, and I don't know if this is going to be this may be a bumper sticker for Lawrence County. I don't know. I feel like we need to create some T-shirts with this stuff out there. I think some people would actually like to wear it around and antagonize each other.
But here's the crazy part: is you sit there and you said to me earlier when I was teasing you about, and you didn't know what I was bringing.
I had no idea.
You're going, I'm going to bring Mickey Mouse ears and stuff. And I told you will not beat what I brought in. And I don't care what Mickey Mouse ears you bring in, you're not going to beat a 1911.
Well,
you're going to have to find a gun that says Orlando on it.
I mean, it's not there.
I know, right?
It's not there. Mickey Mouse outlawed all that. I mean, you didn't want that. Y'all got Steamboat Willie that wouldn't have it down there, okay?
No way.
I love antagonizing you over to Disney World down there because I know as a kid you had to go to Disney World.
I did.
Disney? Is it Disney? It's Disney World.
Disney World there, Disneyland in California.
Yeah, it's a different world there, that's for sure.
It is a different world.
See, I thought you were, and when I first met you, I thought you were a Yankee, but actually you're a Disneyite. And
now you're trying to get even. You cannot beat this. I'm sorry, Brandon. As much as you can try, you're not going to beat this.
Well, I hope you get hate for bringing it in here.
I'm not getting
waving it
hate
in my face and then leaving with it. So you deserve some hate.
I do deserve some hate for that.
You do.
You would like that, though, wouldn't you?
I love it. Yeah, I do. How much do you want for it?
We can talk about that later.
My wife's listening, but I'm not going to buy this gun, honey.
No, this gun's not for sale.
So anyway, I'm just blessed to have good friends like you, and we're blessed to live in this county. And as we're coming out of the Thanksgiving week, a lot of good things are going on. I'm looking forward to 2024. What's going to be happening here in Lawrence County? We've got growth, and I know some of my friends and neighbors and those that are out there that we know. Sometimes you don't want the growth, and you hate to see the change, but some things we can't stop. We're not going to be able to stop people moving into this area. But I believe if we can stay involved and bring people in, I believe we can preserve the heritage that's here. I believe we can preserve our freedoms. I believe there's people that move here and maybe they don't know how to assimilate in with us. And I'm hoping that we can welcome folks in when they do come, that we don't hold people at arm's length, and we can say, hey, you know what? This is our county. Let's continue to make it good. We have a good school system. We have a good sheriff department. We have good leadership. We have good I think we have very respectable leaders.
We do, and you mentioned good school system. I mean, Michael Atkins, to me, he's our school superintendent. Sure. Not a better man going right now, in my opinion.
And even
I
in
think
the leadership,
Michael Atkins.
Some of the ones who maybe not agree with me politically, I still like them. I still like them as people. I mean, they're not like I'm like. They're people I can sit down and have a meal with.
So can I tell you how? Let me tell you how people can assimilate. One. And I did this when I moved here. I didn't come here to change Lawrence County. I didn't come here thinking that Polk County, Florida was better than Lawrence County and that I needed to change Lawrence County.
Right.
Okay? I came here and I tried to assimilate the best way I could. I looked at the demographics. I looked at what I thought was a beautiful, safe area to raise my children. And that's why one of the reasons why I moved here, along with the fact that all my dad's family's from here originally as well. My dad and mom moved up here. But here's how you assimilate. Come to the Lawrence County Republican Party. You don't have to join if you don't want, but you know what? It's $5 to be a member.
Right.
That's it. The other thing is come to the West End Community Center. We get together twice a month. We get together on the first Tuesday of the month.
Yep.
And then we get together and do breakfast the fourth Saturday of every month. Come out and meet your friends and meet your neighbors. And you don't have to be necessarily in West End or anything else. We have people come from all over the county. We have people come from other counties even to attend our meetings and also attend the breakfasts.
Right.
Come meet like-minded people. Now, if you have moved here and thinking that you are going to shove anything like homosexual marriage, you're going to shove trans at us, transsexual at us. You're going to shove. You're going to take away our
traditional
guns.
Marriage.
Right. You're going to shove these. We're going to take away your Second Amendment. And I'm going to tell you something. Even if you think, well, you don't need an AR-15. That's taking away the Second Amendment. I'm sorry.
Sure.
And in reality, how the Second Amendment was wrote, let me tell you how the Second Amendment was wrote. The Second Amendment was to be able to have anything that the government has. At the end of the day, they want to take and they want to go off on this and say, well, they only talked about muskets then and cannons and things. Guess what? That's what they had.
It was military grade.
That was military grade.
Yeah.
And see, that's what the Democrats have been saying. You should not have military grade weapons. Well, guess what? That's what everybody had when the Second Amendment was wrote, was military grade weapons. In my eyes, if I can afford a tank, I should have a tank. If I can afford a Black Hawk helicopter, by God, I should have a Black Hawk helicopter.
If people want to assimilate, if they have a tank, bring it over to Lawrence's house.
Oh,
he wants to ride in it.
Yeah, and I'm sure John Myers will be right there with us wanting to fire it,
we
too.
want to ride in your tank.
Yeah.
But and I think that's great. One of my favorite Andy Griffith episodes, you mentioned the cannons. We're talking about Second Amendments because we're just having fun here tonight. But there's an episode of the Andy Griffith Show, and I love the Andy Griffith Show. Number one, my grandfather, Les Hensley, was just like Andy Griffith. I grew up with Andy Griffith for a grandfather, and just a great guy. Made me what I am today. But in one of the episodes, Barney and Andy were trying to figure out what they were going to do with a Civil War cannon that was there, they wanted to get rid of it. And they were just trying to find someone that would take it. It was a cannon, and they were pulling it around with the patrol car.
But I want you to think about this is the 60s. Gun laws have not changed since the 60s. You can own a Civil War cannon right now.
Right.
You can go buy a Civil War cannon. If you can afford it, you can go buy a Civil War cannon right now and own it.
I'm just picturing a liberal that might be listening to this show on accident.
Their head just exploded.
And listen, they think that's what we deer hunt with.
Oh, no, they think we hunt with an AR-15 and the bullets explode and they ruin the meat.
I literally had a liberal 2 weeks ago talking about deer season and my family members of mine that deer hunt. We were talking about some things. And this liberal individual, 52-year-old man, so we're not talking about a child, a 52-year-old man. Listen, also 10 years of Air Force experience.
So if anybody should know better, it should be him.
Told me that if you shot a deer with an AR-15, it would destroy the meat. There would be nothing left to eat.
You're a freaking idiot. I'm going to tell you that right now because you know what? Actually, I don't think an AR-15 should be used for hunting. And
it's a pretty small caliber.
It's a very small caliber. You're talking a glorified .22, people. Do you know what the AR-15 shoots? It shoots a .223. It's 3/100ths of a diameter bigger than a .22 caliber bullet.
Well, I'm just telling you what someone told me.
Well, I'm just telling you they're an idiot. And my wife gets on to me. She says, don't call people names, but I can't help it. If you're in the military and here's the other thing. Do you know why the AR-15?
You see why I like to come on here, folks?
Do you know why the AR-15?
I love getting Orlando fired up.
Do you know why the AR-15 was invented by the government and that bullet was invented by the government?
Go ahead.
The bullet was invented by the government in order to not kill, but to maim. And here was the bright idea the government had at the time, because we used to have a 30-06. Right. We used to have M1 Garans. We used to have M1 carbines, which is a 30 caliber bullet. Okay?
Right.
But they found out that those bullets killed too much.
Right.
So we're going to get a .223, and here's the logic behind that. Yep. The logic behind it, and you can go look this up. And by the way, AR stands for Armalite Rifle. It does not stand for Assault Rifle. You go learn your history.
Let's go, Brandon.
Okay. So the .223 is a glorified .22.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something. Most of your firefights happen, even in military, less than 100 yards.
Right.
Okay? A .223 does not really start doing any kind of damage at all until the bullet starts tumbling, which, according to the length of the barrel, is going to be anywhere between 200 to 300 yards before the bullet will tumble.
Yep.
If you told me I'm going to get in a firefight with someone, the firefight's going to be less than 100 yards, and I have a choice between an AR-15 or a Ruger 10/22. I am choosing the Ruger 10/22 because, ballistically speaking, at less than 100 yards, that .22 bullet, especially if I get CCI velocitors, will do more damage than what a .223 will do. And I'll take it even a step further.
10/22 is a 20 for the liberals. This is a .22 caliber rifle.
Yeah, it is the most basic that you can still go to Walmart and buy, for crying out loud. So
a rimfire cartridge.
A rimfire cartridge, right. So I'll even take it a step further. What does the mob use when they do hits?
It's not an AR-15.
No, they use a .22 caliber revolver.
Right.
That's what they use when the mob goes to kill somebody to do a hit.
And we won't do any question on how you know this, but we'll...
I study history, number one, and I educate myself.
Sure.
And I educate myself even on ballistics on bullets even.
Well, so, just to set the record straight, for those people out there that may think that people hunt with AR-15s, I know, and we live in Lawrence County where deer hunting is a pretty big sport here. And I don't know anyone that desires to go out and hunt with an AR-15. And let me say this for those listening, I do know that that is legal, and I do know that it will kill a deer. But as far as people who purposely go out and try to kill deer with an AR-15, that is a very small number of people, because the bullet does not have as much power and it will not do enough damage, and they almost consider it inhumane. The shot placement has to be so exact to actually kill that deer, and most guys who deer hunt want a very humane way. Plus, we're all fat and lazy. We don't want to drag a deer 200 yards because it ran before it died. We want a kill shot.
That's correct.
And a 223 in the AR-15, it's very difficult to land that kill shot.
I'm sorry.
On a large game animal.
I'm sorry, I got off on tangent, but here's the reason why I didn't say this. Here's the reason the 223 was invented by the military. It was to do damage and wound, not to kill, and it would take 3 people off the battlefield instead of just one if they were killed. Sure. That is the reason why that bullet was invented. I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent.
You did get off on a tangent.
I know, and I'm sitting here, I'm reading questions, and I was wrong. Somebody corrected me on my math. It is 1,000th, not 100th of a difference in size.
That's right, 1,000th.
So that was Polk County education, by the way, from Florida.
Listen, he went to school at Disney World. So
and Brandon didn't graduate until he was 21, but he won't say that. You know?
Hey, I'm no idiot. I was in high school for 7 years.
That's right, exactly. You got your good education. Then we had another
Just
one.
Just kidding. For all those teachers I had out there, God bless you.
Then we had another person ask. He goes, "Well, does that include landmines?" Okay, so let me answer that question. If the government can own landmines, I'm about freedom. Okay, and I don't trust the government. So if the government can own landmines, then I think I should own landmines too. I'm just going to tell you, do I own landmines? No, because that would get me put in prison. But should I be able to own landmines if our government owned landmines? Yes. And if you think the government's out for your best interest, I got another thing coming from you. You go look in your history at all the governments and find me one government in history that has ever been for their public. I'm just going to tell you, you find me one.
Reverend Orlando. You're preaching over here tonight.
So it's kind of interesting. You know, people are, it's hard for us to take calls, but I'm glad people are interacting with us through the internet. And I told our producers, hey, look, you need to start sending me some of these questions and we'll answer them, on air.
Sure. And hats off to WDXE because they're expanding. They want to do more on their talk radio side. And we want to do debates and things like that.
Amen.
We were talking about a couple of races last night, and I don't want to say what they are because I don't know who's going to be running against who.
Right.
But if we have some Republicans running for the same office, I fully intend
we're going to give them a
to bring
microphone.
some debates.
Yeah, we're going to get a microphone.
Let me say this publicly. If you're going to run for Republican and there's someone else running as Republican, you better be prepared to do a debate. And because we want to bring in, we are looking for the best candidate. I just got a text message. It's Reverend Doctor Orlando. It's Reverend Doctor.
Okay, so we just got a text from our good buddy Jared Menz. Jared Menz says that Studders is now open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Wednesday through Saturday.
Good.
So they're already expanding hours, which means, hey, people, let me tell you something. I love small businesses.
Yes.
And we need to support our small business. We need to support Mike Stutter. We need to support Jared Menz. These are family-owned businesses, and we need to support them. Same thing with Strikers. I love Strikers, too. I want to support all of our businesses. Brass Lantern, Johnny Fleeman.
We have some great small businesses.
Johnny Fleeman comes to our breakfasts.
Sure he does.
And I think the world of Johnny Fleeman. I mean, you got a guy, this guy made it. And he still will come in, and you wouldn't even know who he is if you didn't know him.
Yep, they're all these guys are great guys.
Just great
Jared
people.
Menz is a great friend, and
you can't beat Jared Menz.
I want to encourage people buy local. Shop local,
yes.
Eat out local, and if a restaurant's not serving what you want, go talk to the manager and say, "Hey, can I get this? Can I get this?" They want to serve things that the residents here would like to come in and purchase. So, yes, Stetter's Restaurant, go by there, see them. I mean, it's good to have a variety of different places to go, and all these restaurant owners. Let me go ahead and say this: I know several of them personally. They're all friends. And they're not, even though they're in competition, I think it's great that they're friends and they're friendly with each other and they laugh and cut up when they're in each other's company. So hats off to these guys. Go by and visit Stetters. Let them know you're glad they're back open, and we're glad to hear it as well.
Yeah, I think Jared may be listening right now. Or he wouldn't have texted me what he just texted me. So.
He wants that pistol right there.
Well, he probably does want the pistol, but
I think you should give this pistol away.
No way. Not happening.
That's what I would do if I had it.
Oh, I bet you will. I bet you would. So I got to say Jared's favorite word, sodomite. There you go, Jared. I know you want to hear that word, so there, I said it.
I think you've covered all bases. I mean,
I have pissed off just about every liberal today, have I not?
I mean, you have really went from one end of the rainbow spectrum to the other. And,
rainbow.
Yeah,
rainbow.
There you go. See there? I got it in for you. We got every piece of it in. And, fastest moving hour in radio.
We got 3 minutes. Where did the time go, buddy?
I don't know. I could sit here and do this for a couple of hours easily.
We didn't even bring in notes. You know what, though? I do want to mention this. We got to hit this.
Do it.
And it's the only thing we talked about.
Dr. Orlando.
Yes. Is the Satanic Church in New Mexico.
Yep.
They have opened up abortion clinic called Samuel Alito's Mother Satanic Abortion Clinic in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And me and you have talked about this on numerous occasions, that abortion is a way for the Satanists to sacrifice.
Sure.
And they have proved it with this abortion clinic because...
and they don't deny it.
They don't, but people don't realize how evil things are.
Right.
I mean, the taking of a human life, pulling out of a human life.
Sure.
And I'm going to tell you something. Don't hand me this crap if you're liberal and you think that it's not a human life. I don't care what you think, because it's what God thinks that matters to me. And you cannot argue with me on that. You just think I'm deranged and stupid. I don't care.
You keep preaching, we may have to baptize people here.
Oh, man, no.
Our next Republican Party meeting is going to be on January 23rd. Special thanks to the Lawrence County Republican Party for putting this on.
WDXE,
God bless.
God bless everybody.
And W237FD Lawrenceburg.